One of the most common questions asked to me is, what kind of car should I buy? You know, that is almost an impossible question to answer because everyone has different needs, maybe even different needs different days. I might want a convertible one day, I might want something sporty, maybe I need something to tow something. But when people ask me, what kind of car should I get to move people around? Well, there is only one king of that class, and that's the minivan. This is the new Honda Odyssey, and for 2018, Honda's made an already great package even better and added some very unique features. So what's new with the Odyssey? Everything. It's an all-new van. Starting from the front, you have a bold, modern look. This is the touring model, so it gets a few little extras like available LED headlamps, and on the side you have 19-inch wheels opposed to 18-inch on all the other trims. Onto the side though, you have a power sliding door, but the one thing that I wish it did have is what the Chrysler Pacifica has, is the automatic side opening door. We just kick it and it opens. This one you have to pull the handle or use your remote. It seems like a little thing, but when you do have your hands full, it's nice to have a hands-free option. But if you come over to the back, one thing that you really will notice on this new Odyssey is that back quarter here. It's really been cleaned up. It's got a sleeker look because they've integrated the slot for the sliding door. They've integrated right into this rear glass area, and like I said, it just makes it a lot cleaner. Onto the back, all Odysseys get standard LED tail lamps, and EX models and above get a power lift gate. This one has the power lift gate and it has automatic opening. So that feature that I was wanting for the side doors where you just kick under, this one has it. So just a kick under the bumper and up it comes. The Odyssey has a huge, deep storage well when the third row of seats is up. I do have to comment though, I think there's a lack of grocery bag hooks. Sometimes on minivans you see them maybe hung around the bottom of the seat area, so you can hook your bags on there so things don't go flying around. I'd like to see that on the next Odyssey. But to put these third row magic seats down, is you take the strap and you just pull down like that. And on the other side, just do the same thing. If you want more room, just pull that strap and you see it goes down. A nice flat area. Now here is something that is a great addition to this Honda Odyssey. You guessed it, in behind here is a vacuum cleaner, and it has a very long, stretchy hose. You got different attachments to use it. You just hit the button. We're in a gravel lot, so I've tracked in a lot of gravel in the front area. So let's see if we can vacuum it up and see if it reaches. All Odysseys come standard as an 8-passenger configuration, so 3 in the middle row and 3 in the back as well. Now in the second row though, that middle seat acts like an armrest, but it can also be removed, and most people, including myself, would remove it unless you have the need for 8 passengers, because without it you get access to the magic sliding seats. That's what Honda's calling them, and I think they are great. So why sliding seats? Well, perfect example. I can load my daughter in this seat and I can slide it toward the center. I can go all the way to the center, or even close to the center. Now I have got 2 seats in here, so I can put them both toward the center so they can watch the screen easier, or just to have them more toward the center for safety so they're not close to the side in case there's an impact. But also, if I'm getting into the back, I can move the seat. First of all, they slide forward and back as well. I can move it forward and then slide it into the middle and then get in. Every van should have this feature. Look at the mess I made here though. Wow. I'm gonna have to get the vacuum out again. Whew. Sorry, Honda. All Odysseys come with the proximity key and the push button start, and that's all standard, which is a nice thing. Once you've had it, you don't want to go back to using a key or having to take out your remote to open the door. Now, talking about the remote, it also has remote start. That's standard as well, but I love the size of this remote. It's really small, yet it has 7 buttons on it. So I hope other manufacturers take notice instead of making these huge honking key fobs. Inside, lots of storage room. I think there's something like there's over 15 cup holders in this van, but lots of little cubby areas, and you need these when you have kids. As they grow up, you have sippy cups, you have toys, you've got books. You basically have everything that you have in your house in your minivan. So those little spots are great. You have a nice flat area here. You can put everything from purses to takeout food, anything you want there. And then in the center, you have a fairly large cargo area as well. In the front, you have a sliding compartment. You can put your DVDs in there maybe. Talk about DVDs. 10.2-inch screen in the back of this touring model. It has Blu-ray as well. It has some streaming apps too, so if you don't have discs, you can still use that system. Up front, we have a new display audio system. The standard system comes with a 150 watt 7-speaker system. This touring model gets a 550 watt 11-speaker system. Overall, the look it's kind of futuristic to me. I'm not sure if I like it or not. I just recently test drove the new Honda Accord sedan, and I love the simplicity, what they've done to that interior, and I kind of wish this was kind of like that. But yeah, you feel like you're at a cockpit of the Starship Enterprise, just everything. It's not hard to use, don't get me wrong. Everything's placed easy to use. It does have the push button transmission, and I have to admit, I just recently also drove the Acura TLX A-Spec, and it also had it. So after using this transmission for a couple weeks, you do get used to it. So, I can't really knock it too bad. For pairing phone, it also has NFC connection. And on this touring model, you also get wireless charging if your phone is compatible with that. Now, talking about phones, this vehicle is super connected. You have tons of outlets, power outlets, HDMI, you name it. But Android Auto and Apple CarPlay do come standard with this vehicle. The Odyssey does come with a backup camera, but one thing that it doesn't have, though, it does not have a bird's eye view or 360 camera that so many other vehicles are coming out with now. And I really miss that. It's a great feature, especially for a vehicle this size and parking for some people. It's handy to have. So let's talk about the touring model. A lot of you are going to say, why are you testing the top model again? Well, that's what's available to me, but also in the case of the Odyssey, I think most people actually are buying the touring model. You don't see very many base model Odysseys out there. People that are buying Odysseys usually want something a little bit higher than what you can normally get in a minivan. And this is what the Odyssey gives you. Also, I think people that are buying minivans, they're not trading them in every 2 or 3 or 4 years like you are with a lot of cars or even some SUVs. You're buying this and you're using this for a decade or a dozen years or so as your family grows. You think about this, in the course of all the years you're going to own this Odyssey, it's going to go to hockey practice, dance recitals, it's going on vacation, it's going to be your dressing room, your transit bus. Over all these years, it's going to be your best friend. So you might as well get everything that makes life easier now. What's a minivan review without a family? Got the family in here. This is the perfect way to test it. And you know what? When we found out we were getting a minivan, we were kind of excited because having a minivan with a family is so much easier. Think about this, even when you go on vacation, what do you want to rent? You want to rent a minivan because it makes everything easier. The low step-in height, the sliding doors, whether you're young or old, elderly people have a real easy time getting into a minivan as well. So under the hood is a 3.5-liter V6, puts out 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. Now, all models come with a 9-speed automatic transmission. This touring gets a new 10-speed automatic transmission. I haven't driven the 9-speed, so I can't really compare. What I can say about the 10-speed, though, it's very, very smooth. You got a lot of gear ratios to go through, so you don't really feel the shifts at all. One thing that's really noticeable is when you're starting off from a stop, it's not abrupt at all. It's very, very gentle in your takeoff. And where that's really handy is if you have little kids or infants or anyone sleeping in the back. Think of this, you want to be as smooth as possible when you're taking off from a light. And this does it very, very well. For fuel savings, this new Odyssey is equipped with VCM, which is variable cylinder management, basically cylinder deactivation, where if you don't have a demand, the 6 cylinders can turn off 2 or 3 cylinders, so it can run on a 3 or 4 cylinder basis to save you fuel. But there's a problem when you do that. If you cut off 3 cylinders on a V6, you're not even anymore, and you're going to introduce a lot more vibration. So what they've done is they've added active body mounts onto this engine, and that smooths everything out. You don't even know when you're going from 3, 4, or you're back to 6 cylinders. Now here's a really neat, unique feature to the Odyssey. It has what they call cabin watch. So I hit that, and you have a very wide angle camera that you can see the second and even the third row. You can zoom in, and you can you can see if the kids are sleeping or if they're hitting each other, or you need to separate them. And that's a good feature. And it's an infrared camera as well, so if it's nighttime, you can still see them. Also, beside that is a button called Cabin Talk. I hit that, and I can select speakers or headphones. You can probably hear my voice in the speakers in the background, and you can say, "Hey, you kids, quiet down now, can ya?" It works. 4 years ago, when we wanted to buy a family vehicle for our growing family, the Odyssey was on the list. It was basically between the Odyssey and the Toyota Sienna. We wanted a minivan, but the Sienna had some things I didn't like about it, and the Odyssey, what got me was the steering. I don't know why, but that steering, it just drove me nuts. It was really vague on center. You're always correcting, and it was a deal breaker. Well, this new Odyssey is completely different. First of all, a new dual pinion electric power steering. You mix that with a new chassis and a new rear suspension. This steering is what I would have expected in the Odyssey. It's responsive. It's still very easy, so good for maneuvering in tight spots. If this Odyssey was available 4 years ago, it would have been a done deal. The only thing that could make this Odyssey any better would be the addition of a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid drivetrain. Why? Because it just makes sense on a large vehicle like a minivan, especially a lot of people driving these vehicles, hauling the family around to school and everyday chores. They don't drive a lot of long distances during the week, just a lot of short trips. So a plug-in hybrid system with a 50-kilometer electric-only range would be absolutely perfect. The Chrysler Pacifica has already done it, so it's time for the others to catch up. With all the technology that they have in the cars nowadays, especially with active noise canceling that most vehicles have to make the cabin quieter, I don't know why they can't just make a system where it can sample sounds like what's coming out of the back there and cancel them out. Now that would be a feature that I would buy, hands down. We all know that crossovers and SUVs are taking over, but before you go jumping over to that side, think of what you're getting with a minivan. You have the utility. You have the versatility with all the different seats and configurations. You have the practicality of the low step in height and the sliding doors. So in my mind, if you need to haul people around on an everyday basis, the minivan is still the king. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more everyday reviews, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.